Alright, that's it. I'm done with this season. It's gotten out of hand, no one knows what's going on, and I can't take any more craziness! What's going on, guys? Dick's Report here, back with another video. And as you can tell from that very dramatic opening, this season is just getting crazier and crazier by the week. We have no idea what's going on. Anything goes. Thursday night game, Tampa Bay, Buffalo. Okay, how does Buffalo beat Miami but lose to both the Jets and the Patriots? That makes no sense. I don't even know what the heck happened on that final drive with Buffalo. I don't know what happened with them all game. Mac Jones was just carving up that defense. Meanwhile, for Tampa Bay, lost a close matchup to the division rival Atlanta Falcons while they were at home. They are behind the Falcons now in the division. They got to win to keep pace with them. But I'm going to go with Buffalo on this one. Houston taking on Carolina. If you would have told people going into this game that one of these teams would be 0-6, you would have asked, what's Carolina's record? But no. Carolina's the one that's winless, while Houston is at 500 and could be fighting for a wildcard spot down the line if they keep playing like they are. They have played against some good teams and performed well against them. I'm picking them over Carolina. Rams taking on the Cowboys. The Cowboys are coming off a bye. Meanwhile, the Rams, they lost last week to the Steelers, missing 3 field goals where if all 3 of those field goals were made, they'd probably win the game. Sometimes, that's all it comes down to, the team that makes the most mistakes. Give me the Cowboys. Minnesota taking on Green Bay. Green Bay, they are a bad team this year. They are 2-4, and they're coming off a loss to the Denver Broncos. Really? The Broncos? Meanwhile, for the Vikings, they have won 2 straight. They have 1 more win. They're back to 500. Looking like they were dead in the water. They're starting to come back up again. And I have them getting back to 500. They beat the Packers. Saints taking on the Colts. For the Saints, they're coming off a Thursday night loss to the Jacksonville Jaguars, while the Colts are coming off a loss to the Cleveland Browns where there were some questionable calls at the end of that game. I'm going to go with the Colts over the Saints on this one. Patriots taking on the Dolphins. We got reverse records here. Miami, they are 5-2. They're coming off a loss to the Philadelphia Eagles. The Patriots, they're 2-5, but they're coming off a win against the Bills that got Bill Belichick his 300th career regular season victory. He now joins an elite club with George Halas and Don Shula. They're the only coaches to win 300 games in the regular season. Just an amazing coaching career by Bill Belichick. As for this game, give me the Dolphins. Seems like the Patriots always struggle against the Dolphins on the road. The battle of the New York teams. Well, New Jersey. Anyway, Jets, Giants. Giants are considered the home team. Jets coming off a bye. Giants, they're coming off a win against Washington where they essentially shut down Washington's offense. However, you're talking about a Jets team that has one of the best defenses in the NFL, and it seems like Zach Wilson has finally figured out how to play well in the NFL. With the help of Aaron Rodgers, I'm going to go with the Jets. Jacksonville taking on Pittsburgh. Both these teams, they are 4-2. However, Jacksonville's the one that's winning their division. Maybe win the AFC South right now, but the Colts and the Texans are right behind them. Meanwhile, for Pittsburgh, they are half a game behind the Ravens in the AFC North. I'm going to go with Pittsburgh over Jacksonville on this one. I think TJ Watt and that defense get it done again. Atlanta, Tennessee. Tennessee just traded Kevin Byard. They're coming off a bye, but really, they have not looked good for most of this season so far. Atlanta picked up a key win on the road against their division rival Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and they have the lead in the NFC South. I say that lead continues. They take care of the Tennessee Titans. Big divisional rivalry here. Philadelphia, Washington. NFC East rivalries, they are some of the best in the NFL. Last year was no exception, with Washington giving Philadelphia their first loss of the previous season. Philadelphia, they got the win against the Dolphins. Meanwhile, for Washington, like I mentioned before, their offense essentially got shut down against the Giants, and they lost that game 14-7. I expect Washington to play Philadelphia hard, but give me the Eagles on this one. Cleveland taking on Seattle. Seattle, they picked up a win against the Cardinals. They are now a half a game behind the 49ers. Cleveland, they're a half a game behind the Ravens, and they picked up a win against the Colts. Myles Garrett just had the game of his life last week, and this Browns defense is very, very good. But I'm going to go with Seattle in the 12th man on this one. Baltimore taking on Arizona. For Baltimore, what happened last week? I mean, they were playing out of their minds. They shut down Jared Goff and that Lions offense, and their offense delivered their best performance of the season so far. That was just a complete game. Something that every Ravens fan's been waiting for so far this year. Meanwhile, for the Cardinals, we all knew it was going to be a tough year for them. I'm going with the Ravens over the Cardinals. Kansas City taking on Denver. For Denver, they picked up their second win of the season last week against the Packers. In KC, they took care of business against the Chargers. In KC, we can talk all we want about their offensive struggles to start the season, but they are still 6-1, and their defense has just been so good so far this year. So I'm going with the Chiefs, and at the moment, you have to consider them the Super Bowl favorites with the way that they're playing. Cincinnati taking on San Francisco. For San Francisco, just a rough last 2 weeks. The loss against Cleveland where their offense just couldn't do anything, and the Monday night loss to Minnesota. Meanwhile, for Cincinnati, they are coming off a bye, and Joe Burrow is getting healthier, and that offense is getting better. Call me crazy, but I'm going to go Cincinnati over San Francisco. Chicago taking on the Chargers. For Chicago, their storyline last week was their backup quarterback, Tyson Bagent, I hope I said that right, picking up a win in his first start after coming from Division II college football. Craziness. Just craziness. Meanwhile, for the Chargers, they couldn't get the job done against Kansas City. They were shut down in that second half. Going with the Chargers over the Bears on this one, but this is one I'm not too confident about, I'll be honest. Raiders taking on the Lions on Monday night. Raiders, I don't know what happened to them against the Bears. They just completely got dominated from the first snap to the final whistle. I mean, there's not much more I can say about that game. Meanwhile, for the Lions, it's the same thing. I don't know what happened to them. Again, this was another team that got completely dominated by their opponent last week. Wasn't great. But I say the Lions rebound, and they take care of business against the Raiders. They pick up a win. Alright guys, those were my picks for Week 8. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. As always, I'll see you guys next time.